Bulging eyes, nightmare-inducing teeth, green splotches on his skin, and messy thinning hair. Beetlejuice is terrifying and unbelievably captivating. But why does he have such a strange, undeniable charm? How does Tim Burton manage to blend such opposing qualities in his characters and make us actually care about them? And what role do those even-present black and white stripes, so iconic to his style, play in all of this? Today, we're diving into the mesmerizing world of Tim Burton, the master of dark fantasy. We'll explore how he expresses the personalities and inner worlds his characters through their design. We'll take a closer look at his unusual and instantly recognizable style, a style even neural networks are familiar with. In fact, I used AI to generate a design for my own Burton-inspired doll and then made it with my own hands. By the way, you'll never guess where I got the hair for it. Watch until the end and you'll find out. Let's go!
Burton has a genius for blending the grotesque with comedy. Beetlejuice is the epitome of dirty charm. He's like the embodiment of our dark side, but he's so exaggerated that instead of being scared, we find ourselves laughing. Beetlejuice is stuck in the world of the dead, but he desperately wants to return to the world of the living, not to live, but to keep pulling his outrageous stunts. The black and white stripes highlight his duality. He is both kind and cruel, both alive and dead. The contrasts in his appearance perfectly match his unpredictable personality. In Burton's work, black and white symbolize detachment, conflict, and inner turmoil. The stark stripes intensify this conflict, making it easy to express in a simple yet memorable way. Beetlejuice isn't the only rebellious outcast in Burton's universe who clashes with the world around him. Edward Scissorhands also sports a bizarre hairstyle and black and white clothing. He was created by a scientist, but never became a complete person, and society never accepted him. He wants to laugh and be loved, but he is physically unable to. He fears rejection, being misunderstood, and ultimately being alone. Then there is Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas. The Pumpkin King and the ruler of Halloween suddenly loses his sense of purpose. He's tired of scaring people and decides to take on Santa's role to experience something new. His sharp suit symbolizes his desire for order and discipline, while the stripes reflect his deep inner conflict. He's torn between duty and the yearning to change his life, which eventually leads to a disaster. And finally, Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. He was once an ordinary man with a peaceful, happy life, but after losing his family and freedom, he transformed into a creature driven solely by revenge. His pale face and dark eyes symbolize his emptiness, consumed by rage and sorrow. The stripes on his clothing are like the bars of a prison, trapping the happy life he once knew.
I'm really fascinated by studying the appearance of characters from my favorite movies. I love taking a close look at their clothes, hairstyles, body shapes, accessories, and all those tiny details because they hold so much valuable information. It's like a key to understanding the inner world, and diving into that is just insanely exciting. This time, I decided to make a step further and make my own doll in Tim Burton style. I turned to a neural network for the concept. And of course, I got the classic Burton look. A skinny body, a striped suit, messy hair and bulging eyes. The stitch-up mouth is borrowed from Jack Skellington. I really like this little old guy, so I'm making him in 1/12 scale. I'm starting with a body, assembling it from wire to create a flexible base. I sculpt the head out of polymer clay, trying to capture that perfect blend of grotesque and charming. I make the eyes, hands and feet separately. Then bake everything in the oven to harden the clay. I use an acrylic primer, pastels, black acrylic paint and varnish. Next up, the hair. And this was a bit tricky. What to use? The solution just walked up to me on 4 legs, wagging its tail. It was my dog, Cheney, a black and white beauty. I trimmed a bit of his fur from different spots and used it for the doll's hair. I attach the strands with wood glue and then tint them with green pastels. For styling, I use regular acrylic varnish. I rub the body in string to give it volume and texture, and I felt the torso to create a nice little belly. Under the costume, there is a white shirt. I make a pattern, cut it out and glue it together. I add tiny buttons made from UV clay and lace cuffs. The best fabric for a doll costume is, of course, curtains. I couldn't find any stripped fabric for the costume, so I painted some white fabric with stripes, cut it to the pattern and assembled it. And there you have it, my Beetlejuice Skellington. I couldn't resist, so I made him a young friend to keep him company. Now, there are a little gang. Tim Burton creates characters that live on the edge between comedy and tragedy, between life and death. But they are also full of soul, and you can't help but empathize with them, even if they seem creepy and strange. By making these characters with my own hands, focusing on all the tiny details, from every strand of hair to those wired eyes, to the stripes on their clothes, I've come to understand what makes the Tim Burton's magic world. It's not just design, it's an expression of the character's inner nature, just like in real life. I'm going to keep exploring the Tim Burton's world and make a few more dolls in his style, but this time I'll be using 3D printing. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes. And hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. See you next time!